Hello, everybody. It's Gerard from GH Immigration Services in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I want to do a little bit of an update on a situation I keep on seeing coming in here when it comes to individuals that are here on work permits or study permits or LMIAs or whatever it happens to be that they're here when they are looking at employment. Now, one of the things that I keep running into is individuals that are looking at their permanent residency. Now, a lot of the permanent residency applications, people are applying through PNP programs. Now, one of the issues with a lot of the PNP programs, if you get a nomination, and once you have submitted your nomination, either in LAA, which is you're asking to you're submitting your application for nomination, or an expression of interest, or whatever each one of the programs call it. They're all basically LAAs. So once you're doing that, when you submit the LAA, one of the issues that you're going to run into if your work permit is short dated is you're going to run into problems getting compliance done. Now, what is compliance? Compliance is what the employers need to do to show that they are in good standing with the government. And that's with the ESDC, that's with the federal government, and that is with immigration. Now, how important is compliance? It is actually one of the single most important things that you should be considering when you're looking at working for an employer. And the reason for it, if they don't do compliance and you are in the middle of an LAA or waiting for a nomination come in or whatever the case is, if they won't do compliance, you can't extend your work permit. There is absolutely no way around it. None. If the only way you can extend a work permit is through your nomination certificate, then compliance is a very, very intricate and a very highly important part of your application. So unless you have your LOA from IRCC, once you get you've submitted your PNP, you get your nomination, and you submit your PR application, and you get your LOA, then you can apply for a bridging work permit. No problem there. However, if you don't have your LOA and you have your nomination, you have your application submitted, and you haven't received an LOA, then you need to do compliance if you need to extend your work permit. Now, this can actually work so poorly against you because a lot of employers, and I'll tell you, these are staunch people that will not do compliance. Government services, banks, insurance companies, and a lot of the very large corporations will not do compliance. So although they are great jobs, if they won't do compliance for you, they don't have any value to you. And the biggest reason for it is because for them, they do not respect you as an employee. They don't care about you as an employee. They can replace you, and that's the way they look at it. So it's a very, very poor way to look at things when it comes to hiring people, but this is the reality that comes in. So when you are applying for a job and you're going in for an interview and all that stuff, one of the things that you should always ask the employer, especially if it's smaller, medium-sized businesses, tell them that you're applying for your permanent residency, and it may be through one of the PNP programs, and that down the road you may require to extend your work permit. Now, one of the requirements is compliance. It's not in every case, but it is in a lot of cases. And you just have to ask them if they would be willing to support your application when you're going forward. And you can even tell them that compliance is when you apply for a work permit in the future before your other work permit expires. Compliance is for them to be able to apply and get this number. And that number is used for you to apply to be able to extend your work permit. Now, it gives them an LMIA exempt work permit number, and that's the number that you will use on your application. Now, the compliance is not an LMIA number. It is an LMIA exempt number. It starts with an A. It's got that and about 6 more letters behind it, and that's the one you use for applying for your application. Now, anytime you're trying to get a letter of support from any of the provinces, you need this compliance number to be able for them to be able to issue you a letter of support. And it's very prevalent in Manitoba. And it's not only just very prevalent, you will not be able to extend your work permit unless you do have compliance done if you've had a nomination or an LAA. One of the weirdest things about this is that if you never received an LAA or a P&P nomination and you have a work permit that's expired, especially in like 2024, 2025, you can apply for the letter of support without compliance. But that's only for those individuals. If you already have had an LAA, and there's another thing that you need to know, if you have ever had an LAA to apply for a nomination and you withdrew it, it's still considered that you received it. So you will still need to do compliance. Anyways, I know this is a lot of wordy, but the basic thing that I'm trying to get a point is that when you're applying for a job and you get a job and you're talking in front of the employer, you always should ask them, and I'm as uncomfortable as it is, and you can tell them, is I'm applying for permanent residency in the future, and I may need to do compliance to be able to extend my work permit because of the fact that IRCC is not that quick when it comes to processing applications. Would you support my application? Compliance is $230, I think it is what has to be paid. And that way they could extend you. Now, one of the things that you can always say to your employers, because a lot of the employers think that it's only for your benefit. It's not. When you do compliance with that employer, that work permit is a 2-year work permit that is going to be specific to that employer. It's not LMIA, so don't say it's LMIA. It's LMIA exempt, but it's restricted to that employer based on compliance. So anyways, this is what I really wanted to get a point across to me, because I have so many people that come into my office and they're all in the same situation, and it really breaks my heart when the fact that I cannot do nothing about it. And I have seen too many people either in the middle of a process of an application end up losing their status or losing their application because an employer didn't do that. So like I said, the big ones that really got to be concerned about are any kind of government jobs, banking, insurance companies, any of the very large corporations will not do compliance. A lot of the smaller ones will consider it, so you have to ask them. Anyways, this is Gerard from GH Immigration Services. I know this may not have a lot of interest to a lot of people, but the people that are in this situation right now, that are either on study permits, that are going to be going on to work permits or whatever, this is very important for you to know. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this. It's Gerard from GH Immigration Services. We also have an app that's out there now. It's called Canadian Immigration Utility App. It's for GH Immigration. We put our postings, our stories there daily. We also have some of the calculators for 7 of the different programs, including Manitoba, BC, Express Entry, Saskatchewan. Those are there. There's a Canadian immigration citizenship test there. You know, there's a few things there that are events. So check it out. You may be interested in that as well. Again, it's Gerard from GH Immigration Services in Winnipeg. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you find this useful for those individuals that are in this situation. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send me a DM, and I will see if I'll try to give you a message back. Thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a great day. Bye for now.